Hi, everyone. Welcome to the last session of our wellness series with Sandy. Thank you so much, Sandy, for this journey. It's been amazing. We've got watermelon water in our office now all the time. Everybody's joining in on all the things that you've suggested and done. And I know it's been great. I have one real fun announcement before Sandy gets started on this last one. We're going to offer all of you to email social@Salon Service Group with your name, your email, and your phone number to enter to win a one-on-one with Sandy later on. So just keep that in mind as you attend this last meeting with Sandy. And I'll remind you again at the end. But yeah, you'll email social@salonservicegroup.com. We'll put it in the chat for a chance to have a one-on-one with her. And I hope you've really enjoyed this series. We've been so excited to bring it to you. And yeah, take it away, Sandy.
Oh my God, I was on mute. Can you guys hear me now? Sorry.
Sorry. We can absolutely hear you now.
Okay. I was like chatting away and I was like, what is happening? I'm so sorry. Okay. I cannot believe it is our last session, you guys. It went by so fast. I can't even believe it. So if you don't mind, in the chat, can you guys put one thing that you have taken away so far from our time together? Like, what is one thing that has been ringing in your ear that I've discussed with you? Like, throw this in the chat, like big or small, it does not matter. Whatever it is, throw it in the chat. Let's see what you got. I'm just curious. I don't get to spend a lot of time with you one-on-one, so it's hard for me to know. So if there's anything, let's see what's coming in. Let's see. Don't shit all over yourself. Yeah, don't do that. The cranky lady in the attic can't control my thoughts. No, she can't. That crazy lady, right? Build the body I want to grow old in, for sure. Creating the body I want to grow old in. Yeah, exactly. You have the choice. You have the control to create the environment of your body that you want to grow old in and live well in, okay? Because we have the decision, or we have the choice to live long versus die long, if that makes sense. If we want to live long, beautiful thoughts, reorganizing and prioritizing. Yes, so good. Okay, I love it. Yay. So it's our last session together. Oh, wait, I got one more comment coming in. What does it say? I procrastinate a lot less, which is huge priorities. That's amazing, Amy. I love that. Okay, so good. Okay. So here's the overview for our last session together. So we are going to focus on our session intentions. We are going to understand self-care and what that truly does mean. So my hope is to give you a little bit of a different rearranging and perspective of what self-care means. We're going to talk about winning rituals, support tools, and our program recap, which I'm just so excited about. Okay. So here's the intention for today. Today's intention is to help you identify the ways self-care can be healing. Learning how rituals can assist you to look and feel your best. And we are also going to recap the Beauty Flow method. So let's just get right into it, into a grounding practice. So wherever you are, whatever is in your hand, just put it down for just this moment and rest the bottoms of your feet against the floor, wherever you're sitting, and just relax into your chair, whatever it is that you're doing, and just take a moment to close your eyes. This is our last session together, and really rooting into our chair and becoming present in our bodies. And just go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose and release out through your mouth. And take one more deep breath in through your nose and release out your mouth. And just remember that today is all about you. Right now, this hour, nobody else. The emails will wait. The Instagram DMs will wait. The texts will wait. It's just for you. So you can go ahead. You can open up your eyes. You can come back to the room, wherever it is that you are at. And let's begin. So here we are in our flow. We are on the last step. We are going to be talking today about conscious self-care rituals. And when I say self-care to people, they usually think like self-care Sunday, and they usually think like a day at the spa. And those are all true. But today we're really going to talk a little bit more about what conscious self-care means and how to be more intentional with self-care and truthfully how it is self-healing. Okay, so we are going to discuss the self-care spectrum because self-care is a spectrum. And I don't see a lot of people teaching self-care this way and self-healing this way. So I'm going to show you what that spectrum can look like. Also, what are the methods for protecting your nervous system? If you remember back to the beginning of our time together, I explained how important our nervous system is and how it does create our beauty results and how it impacts our beauty. So we want to protect our nervous system at all costs. And we'll show you those ways that you can do that through self-care. And then we also have to talk about looking our best. Hello, it is the beauty flow method after all, right? Okay. So I like to start off in any discussion about self-care is that I wish self-care had a different name because self-care, people don't necessarily understand that it is self-healing. So in a perfect world, that is what we would name this, self-healing. When we say self-care Sunday, what we're saying is heal and repair the body and mind. So whenever you hear somebody say like, oh, we got to self-care, yes. But self-care and caring for yourself sometimes doesn't come easy to people. And we're going to talk about why in just a moment. But when you change it into the light of self-healing, like I need to go heal, and healing can be big or small, but healing is the act of actually regenerating, rejuvenating, recouping the body, the mind, the nervous system. And self-care acts are methods to self-heal, okay? Quick question. How many of you guys, and you don't have to put this in the chat, just like think about this, right? How many of you are very aware of when your phone needs to be charged? Like think about that, okay? How many of you are like, oh God, it's at like 5%. I need, like you're on like high alert to find a charger, okay? How many of you are like that? Think about it. You're like very aware. Like there is not a night where your phone does not go on a charger, right? How many of you are like, if you don't have a charger, like, oh my God, unfortunately, yeah, right? Like how many of you guys are like, I need a charger with me at all times? Like if you forgot your charger for the day, how many of you go crazy for your phone? I'm sure you guys are all going crazy, right? Like super crazy. Think about it this way. We are more protective over our phone's nervous system and ability to recharge than our own. And it's not just, I mean, I see this all the time. It's not just you on this on this panel right now, or you in this setting. It is everyone. We care more about how our phone acts and operates than us. We care more how our phone heals. Like the second it has a shatter, what do? We run to the Apple store and we care for it, right? Or wherever you go. Yeah. We are so aware of when it's getting depleted that we care so much to replete it, to recreate, re-give it battery, re-give it life. And we oftentimes forget our own self. Your body is your most prized possession. And my hope for you is that you treat it as though it belonged to someone you loved. Okay, I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Your body is your most prized possession, and treat it as though it belonged to somebody you loved. I guarantee that if not everyone in here, because some of you guys might be like, no, I'm good. So this is just in general. This is generalization. Most of the clients that come to me, when they sit back and analyze the way that they have treated themselves or neglected themselves, they would never want that for their children. They would never want that for their siblings, that they, you know, someone that they truly loved or cared about, their best friends. They would never want that for them. And yet we allow ourselves, right? I'm putting myself in here too, right? Especially if you're a mom, right? We allow ourselves to be the last one to rejuvenate, recoup, repair, because we are so much more thoughtful of others that we forget that we are someone that we need to love, that we can treat ourselves the way we love, right? If we listen to our thoughts and we talk to people the way that we talk to ourselves, we would get so mad, right? If someone talked to your daughter the way that you talk to yourself, you would get so mad. Those are signs of healing, and that's okay, right? Is this landing with anybody? How many of you are like, oh, okay, this is sticking with you? Throw that in the chat. Throw a chat, yes. Mm-hmm. Does it make sense? And when you decide to choose yourself, I promise you, you are choosing the people that you love. When you decide to care for yourself and heal yourself, you are healing your families. You are healing the people that you love, because if you go down, even if you're not a mom, if you go down, how does the rest of your family go on? And I remind myself this all the time because I have 2 kids, right? If something happens to mom, the family falls apart. I love my dad. I love my husband. Everyone loves daddy, right? But mommy sometimes needs to be the one to get it together. My phone has a little beat up and needs an upgrade, LOL, kind of like its owner. Oh, Stephanie, this is good. Then this is good for you, girl. Okay? Amazing. So there are 2, when I talk self-care and self-healing, especially if you have a demanding career, especially if you're a mom, especially if you have a lot going on in your life, there are 2 feelings that generally comes up. Now, again, this is general. This is not everybody, but in some ways, 2 feelings come up when we talk about this. And my goal is to change your perspective today on this, okay? It usually comes to shame and guilt. And the way that you know the difference is if you say to yourself, oh God, I'm so messed up. That is shame. If you say something to yourself, oh my God, I just keep messing up. I'm just messing up all the time. That is guilt. So there's a difference between the 2. Both of them are the lowest frequency of emotion that you can experience as a human. We talked a little bit about emotion frequencies in the 2nd session in letting go, and that the highest frequencies are gratitude and love, but some of the lowest is shame and guilt. And shame and guilt can create a dysbiosis in your body because it's so low frequency. But what's so interesting is that when we talk about self-care, these 2 emotions come up a lot. Like, I'm too ashamed to say I need self-care, or I'm too ashamed that I need to ask for time for self-care. There's also guilt. Like, I'm too guilty to leave my family because they need me and I can't go take care of myself. And I'm here to tell you today that when you take care of yourself, you can take care of others. You cannot pour from an empty cup, right? At this point, I'm hoping that throughout the program, you felt like you've been able to fill up your cup by being able to reprioritize your priorities, being able to let go of some things that don't serve you, or even being able to opt for better choices when it comes to your nutrition, right? But there are still these threads of shame and guilt that come around when it comes to asking time for yourself to heal. Your phone isn't guilty or full of shame, right? But there's this moment. There are also a couple other things that come up when it comes to self-care, but this is specific into shame and guilt. Whenever I talk to women about their feelings around shame and guilt, this also comes up. The I'm not enough, or that I'll never be enough, this feeling of being enough. And I think this is very common right now with modern day working men and women, but mostly with women, because women feel like they need to be these like unfailing human givers. They need to be giving all the time. And giving more to them means that they are becoming enough or feeling enough. And that takes away from giving to yourself and being able to self-care and self-heal. And so what I want to tell you today is that this idea of not feeling enough or being enough is what actually leads to burnout. And if you are not healing and caring this feeling of enough, or just your body in general, you will get to burnout. So in order to not burn out, which is the feeling of being overwhelmed and exhausted over everything you have to do, yet you still feel like you're not doing enough. Like, how many of you guys resonate with this? Like, have you ever felt like you were overwhelmed and exhausted over everything there is to do in your life during the day, but you still don't feel like you're doing enough? Like, I mean, I totally, okay, the chats, the comments are coming in. Yes, 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 yep, yes, yes, right? This tends to we tend to get to burnout because we don't take the time to self-heal, and we don't take the time to self-care. We are not unfailing human givers. What I mean by that is, like, we are not meant to be unfailing people. We are going to fail here and there, and that's okay. We are not human givers. We are not giving machines. It's not how we are built. Our bodies, our brains are not built that way. And yet, because we attach to these feelings of shame and guilt, or not being enough, or not feeling enough, we continue to get on this cycle of burnout. And the burnout is when the body starts to break down. And if you've been around for the past sessions, what happens when the body starts to break down? You start to get accelerated aging. You start to get, your skin starts to deplete. Your cortisol levels go up. You're now in flight, fight, or freeze. There's no rest and digest in this burnout state. So and then what happens when you burn out, right? Then you become cranky to your family. You become cranky to your friends. You become so upset, it leads to anxiety. It leads to depression. It leads to all of these things that we tend to find out, all because we didn't allow our time to self-heal and self-care when we needed to in the beginning. So I'm here to tell you, when you feel burnout, or when you feel this shame and you feel this guilt that you're not being enough, what you're lacking, it's not discipline. You're not lacking more discipline. So when you think you need more discipline, what you really need is just kindness and care. Because if you think you need more discipline to be enough, to do more, you are just going to run yourself more into the ground. So what you really need, it's not more discipline, because you can't be more disciplined, okay? You need kindness and care. You need to treat yourself as though your body belonged to somebody you loved. You need to care. You need to heal. Caring and healing will drive the frequency up in your body so that you can actually get the things done that you want to get done in the day. So you don't feel overwhelmed. So you actually feel like you are enough. The relationship right now that needs to be honed is the one between you and yourself. The relationship right now that needs to be honed is the one between you and yourself, especially when you feel burnout. Who's with me? Who feels this? Tell me if you're feeling this. I just need to know. My first marriage, good time. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. So let's talk about self-care now that I've convinced you that it is imperative to not burn out. Self-care is a spectrum, okay? When someone says self-care Sunday, they're really talking about something that is very surface level, all right? So this spectrum is one that I created, that I see a lot in my clients, but you can tell me what, it could be different for you, but you can understand a little bit of the magnitude. So the spectrum, like in the beginning, like things that are like fun for self-care and self-healing could be a face mask. It could be a spa day, sometimes shopping. Those are great elements of self-care where you feel like you're just recuperating yourself. For some of you, it's a glass of wine. And that's totally true. Like, listen, I like my wine too. And at the same time, we know that alcohol might not be good for the nervous system, depending on how far you get into it. But if it's just like a glass of wine here and there, or a cocktail with a friend, like that's all good. But for some people, this may not be enough. For some people, self-care has to look like more. Self-healing has to look like more. So in this one in the bracket, these are all of the self-healing, self-care elements that really protect the nervous system. And it starts with something like even just being with your community, being with people who you know and love, who make you feel full and alive. They are what's going to be self-care. And you'll know your people. You'll know your people by this. If somebody makes you feel like you just ran a marathon, they're not your people. But if you're around somebody who makes you feel like you can run a marathon, they are your people. So I'll say that one more time. If you are around somebody who makes you feel like you just ran a marathon, they are not your people. They are not your self-care tribe. They're not the people that are going to be around you to self-heal. It's the people that make you feel like you can run a marathon. Those are your people. Okay? Being in nature is something that is extremely, extremely powerful in the self-care space, in the self-healing space. Getting more acquainted with the earth, like getting your feet, like your bare feet in the earth, getting your bare hands in the earth, like actually becoming one. There are so many benefits to that, to your like physical benefits, like the negative ions, the physical benefits that can really help to heal the body. It's extraordinary. We can talk about that for 10 sessions just alone. But there are so many wonderful benefits to just being outside. So if you find yourself being inside too much and you're feeling this overwhelmed, this burnout, this sort of like imbalance in your body, getting outside will fix it very quickly. Okay. Silence and alone time, huge self-care, self-healing, especially if you're a mom. Last week, you guys saw me, I was in Denver with my husband on our couples trip. Like, I think we didn't talk for like a whole day because we just needed a silence. We were hiking in the mountains, and we just needed like a silent day. It was just alone time in silence is amazing. The one that I find to be the most healing on a surface level is actually setting boundaries. Yeah, that is a form of self-care and self-healing. And boundaries are very, very difficult for people to set because of guilt. We feel guilty of robbing from other people to feed ourselves. And I don't mean that literally, quite literally, but like robbing, our patience, our integrity. We rob from ourselves. We rob from the things that we really believe that are authentic to ourselves to feed other people when we don't set boundaries. And if you ever want to talk about boundaries, email me or DM me, because this is a huge part of the beauty flow method is boundaries, but also look back to your values. When you look back to the values that you said at the beginning of this session, you really set a framework for what your boundaries look like. Because if it doesn't align with your values or your priorities, you think about it being a no. If it's not a full body yes, then it's a full body no. And boundaries are something that does take skill to work with, because it does talk about like how do you communicate your boundaries to people without seeming like a jerk. So that's a huge part of the coaching program, but boundaries. And then there's vacations and retreats. And then there's coaching. Coaching is a form of self-care and self-healing. You guys haven't even had direct access to me, but just showing up for these past 9-8 weeks, they have been, for some of you who have messaged me, they have been very changing. And so you can see how self-care and self-healing may come in the way of coaching or even therapy, of having someone guide you through what that looks like, because if you haven't been able to do it and figure it out on your own, you might need someone to help you do that. And that's a huge one, right? Another big one that I find that is self-care and self-healing is inner child and trauma healing. And that can come in various different ways. We don't need to get into it today, but because that's not my scope, but there is that as well. And then the other form, and this is like on the very, very like big scale, it's recovery programs. That is a form of self-care and self-healing. So when we say Sunday self-care, those kinds of things are like, oh, we got a self-care. Like, I encourage you to look at self-care as something bigger than just a spa day, or bigger than just a mask day, or bigger than just doing something like eating well, or whatever that looks like. Like, I want you to think about self-healing, plugging yourself back in and recharging. Because if you fall, the people around you will, and they need you. So first decide that you need you, right? What can also be self-healing are these 4 elements. And if you remember a few weeks ago, these are the 4 elements on that nutritional plate that I gave you that talked about like how your food should look like at every meal, and your relationships will nourish you more than any other thing. These 4 things will nourish you more than food. They'll nourish you and rebuild your body and your soul and your feelings and all of these amazing things that make you. It will rebuild you, your relationships. As long as you remember, you find the relationships that make you feel like you can run a marathon versus the ones that make you feel like you just ran a marathon. Okay. I'm late, but I'm here. Hi, Jennifer. Hi. Okay. Physical activity. This is the other one that will also be self-healing, because remember, getting out of the mind, you got to get into the body. And so physical activity will heal your body on a physical level, but also on a mental level. So these can be self-healing. And then there's the career, right? When you are in a career, or when you start to framework your mind to love your career because it's hitting on your purpose, those can be self-healing, right? And I know that we're all in a corporate environment right now, and there are ways to really, fall back in love with your job if it's something that you're feeling disattached from. There are those ways. And for some people, looking for their purpose may look a little different, and that's okay. But when you find your purpose and you are living your why, remember, finding your why, you automatically just feel so much more alive in your body. Like, I mean, I'm sure you guys can just like feel it, but like when I do this work, I feel better doing this work than I do anything else that I do, because I'm actually helping you. And this career heals me physically, heals me mentally, heals me emotionally, heals me spiritually, all of that stuff. Okay. And then connecting to your spirituality, that is also going to be self-healing for so many different reasons. I just want you guys to know, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but before I pulled like a little card. I like to pull cards because they help me to self-heal and kind of ground into my body. And I pulled one for all my coaching clients today. And this is what it said. Today's said, there's nothing sexier than my authentic truth. So that is a message for you. And when I read these messages, I always just feel like in my spirit, I feel more alive. I feel like I'm healing every single day when I pull a card. So that is for you guys. You can see there's nothing sexier than my authentic truth. That is for all of you. Okay. But sometimes we have to create a ritual. Creating self-care rituals are going to be very important. Even as you get older, creating rituals in general are going to be a way that you get into a habit, into a routine. If you work with me on one-on-one, the rituals that we set are like, they are non-negotiable, okay? And we don't mean them to be like another thing on your plate, but without a ritual for you to fall back on every single day, whether even if it's small or even if it's big, these are gonna be the things to get you to self-care and self-heal all the time so that you don't lead to burnout. Because the idea is to not get you to get to burnout. That's why we need to self-heal and self-love. So rituals, now, the technical term is that they are a religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. But I don't mean like religious as in like a religion. Like they are religious activities because you continually do them over and over and over again. So I'm just curious, throw this in the chat. How many of you guys have a ritual? And if you do, what are some of your daily rituals that you do every day? Like what is something that is like a non-negotiable every day? I'm sure coffee is one of them in the morning, but like, who has one? Throw them in the chat. Like, what is your daily ritual? What you got? Let's see. Some type of movement. I love that. Stretching. Gym, 5:15. Holly, I need you as my buddy. You need to get me in the gym at 5:15. Exercise. I love it. Okay, you guys are already going down the right path. Amazing. Okay. Yes. So you having rituals will help you to create more balance in your day, will help you to create more connecting with positive, feed with my husband. Yes, yes. I love that. Love it, Miriam. Okay. So when we work together, rituals are something that we structure so that you can feel like you can self-heal on a daily basis. This is so important. But you know, it is the beauty flow method, right? So I do have to talk about some beauty rituals. And I know there might be some men stretching, pulling a card, practicing gratitude. I love that, Jennifer. Yes, I pulled a card for you guys. I love pulling cards. I pull cards all the time. I have like 5 decks of cards. And just so you guys also know, one of my rituals is I always smudge before a session. And then I have all my crystals next to me. So that way, you know, this is my ritual. It makes me feel grounded and one with you all. But anyway, it is the beauty flow method. So we do have to talk about some beauty tips and tricks and all of the fun potions and lotions and all that stuff, right? So here are some general self-care rituals that I would recommend on a physical level from an exterior perspective, right? So for those of you who love coffee first thing in the moment, like that is amazing. I know that you love that, but I'm going to challenge you to switch things up a little bit, okay? Technically, the very first thing that you can drink that will benefit your skin the most, but also your digestion the most is hot lemon water. So let me put it to you this way. Like for those of you, you are all Midwesterners, so you know what it's like in the winter, okay? If you start your car in the dead of winter and just drive right off, you know that that's not good for your car. Like your car needs some time to warm up. Like it actually needs to sit for a little bit. It needs to get nice and warm so that it can run more smoothly. Well, your body is the exact same way. So remember, when you're sleeping, your body is resting, it's digesting, it's doing its repairing overnight. So when you wake up, it needs to warm up a little bit to get back into the digestive pattern. And so the number one way to do that is with warm water. So the very first thing to do when you wake up is to drink warm water. When you do that, you're priming your digestive system and your microbiome to become stronger and healthier throughout the day with whatever it is that you're digesting. If you put water or lemon in it, it creates a big boost of vitamin C, and that's when your body can actually absorb vitamin C the best, is right when you wake up in the morning. So that vitamin C helps with creating more hydration in your skin, pigmentation in your skin, but it also helps with firming your skin and helping with like any sort of texture on your skin. So hot lemon water, the very first thing you do when you wake up. After that, you can have breakfast, you can have coffee, you can have whatever you want. So this is my challenge to you. You may hear in certain programs, they might do like ginger in their water or green tea. And those are okay too, but I feel like simple hot lemon water is the easiest one to go with. You definitely don't want to do too many colors or too many liquids with colors first thing in the morning, because that's still like digesting, like your body's still metabolizing coffee and digesting coffee. So you need it to be super clean and clear. So hot lemon water. The second thing that is an amazing ritual is any sort of lymphatic drainage. And if you've been following me on Instagram, you may have seen some of my tools that I use for lymphatic drainage, and I've talked about lymphatic drainage. But if you have not been there and you're not really sure a little bit about lymphatic drainage, let me tell you, okay? So your body has its own natural detoxification system, or like a waste management system, and that's called the lymphatic system. And you have lymph nodes in various different parts of your body. And the lymph nodes stretching, hold on, did I just get, oh, sorry, I thought I just got a chat. No, okay. So the lymph nodes in the lymphatic drainage system need help for you to actually push out all of that detoxification and all of like the waste, and they're in your body. So the lymph nodes are like behind your knees, kind of your bikini line, under your armpits, and then you have the lymphatic system in your face as well. And when you can start to push all that out, it helps a lot with circulation, energy, but it also helps with the detoxification process. And when you do it on the body and on the legs, it actually helps to ease cellulite, which is amazing. And when you use tools to detoxify the lymphatic drainage from your face, it actually helps to firm your skin. So it actually firms the skin all over the body. So it helps to create a little bit more of a tightening effect. So couple tools that I use. So for the face, I use gua sha tools. Has anybody not heard of gua sha? I'm just curious. I know a lot of people have. Like there's all these various tools, but who has not heard of it? Okay, no one yet? Okay, that makes me excited. Okay, I have not. Jody, I've not. Okay. So these tools come from various different stones, and the stones hold different energies so that they can promote different energetic feelings. Like for example, this is the Beyond Stone, and the Beyond Stone is actually the most powerful energetic stone to work with, and it creates a lot of healing in the body. And so this is like just a basic jade one. And so they all are healing stones, but this one is like a little bit more for positivity, to bring in a little bit more of love in your relationships. I also have, like, you have these rollers. These also work. This is a rose quartz, and this promotes self-love and just love in general, bringing more love into your life. You may have even seen like some of these vibrating tools. So like there's all these little basic tools. So you may hear them to be something for firming the skin, firming the face, but really what they're doing is they're trying to get you to sculpt the face and that push that lymphatic drainage out of your body, out of your skin. And so these are so, so important to have. And don't worry, I'm going to have something for you at the end of today to find all of these things. So don't worry, but these guys are so great. I would say a gua sha, like every couple days is really nice. You don't have to, it's not, definitely not an everyday thing. Every couple days is good. And then there's dry brushing. So this is what I use on the body. And if you want a little bit more information on how to dry brush, let me know. I do have some videos on Instagram of how I dry brush and tutorials. But dry brushing comes from the Ayurvedic philosophy. And it also helps to exfoliate the skin. So you dry brush before you take a shower. And they recommend doing this every single day. I don't have time every day personally, so I probably do it like 3 or 4 times a week. But dry brushing is something really important. So if you've ever seen a brush like this, that from a boar hair, these are not meant to be used in the shower. I usually hear, oh, I use that in the shower. No, these are not meant to be used in the shower. They're meant to be used like on your dry skin before you take a shower. And then the gua sha stones you can use like after you've done a little bit of face oil, you can use them as slip. Again, I have a tutorial on this. If you want to email me, I can send you a tutorial video on how to use those. But those are really, really fun. And then these guys, these little vibrating guys, you can probably hear it. These guys like this. I personally don't think that they're like a big deal. Like, I don't know. I feel like they're good. If you're like 45 and older, you'll probably like this because it creates more stimulation and muscle tone in the face. But if you're under 45, you may not necessarily need it. And then these guys, these rollers, I think the gua shas are far more better than these rollers. So if you have ones like these, great. I use them if you're wearing a sheet mask, you can use them to like press in more of the serums into your face with from the sheet masks. But other than that, I'm like, nah, you don't need them. I feel like these gua sha stones and these dry brushes are like a must have for anybody. Okay. So the next self-care ritual is going to be serums. All right. I don't care if you're a man, you're a woman, you're a dog, everyone needs a good serum, especially when you start to get into like your 30s. So I'll give you a couple ideas of some serums that I would necessarily stick to. So one of the serums that's really important or really popular, excuse me, is hyaluronic acid. And hyaluronic acid is not like an acid that's going to burn. Sometimes people find it to be really more charged the way it sounds than really what it really is. But hyaluronic acid, your body naturally produces, and that's what creates volume in your face and in your skin. And so as we age, we lose hyaluronic acid, and that's what creates texture. So people are like, give me the hyaluronic acid, like put it all over my face as a serum. And I think that it's definitely important. So if you have skincare with hyaluronic acid in it, amazing. I find that hyaluronic acid is really good to start using in your 20s. Definitely anytime above that, but there are some things that are going to be a little bit more powerful as you age. So serums, just an FYI, they go on before moisturizers. So you cleanse your face, you use an essence if you want to. I don't find that you need an essence personally. I think it's kind of a hokey thing. But a serum is for sure. And then you use your moisturizer. So the other serum that I think is a total must-have is a vitamin C serum. So vitamin C is really good to start using once you hit 30 and over. So when you're in your 20s, you don't necessarily need vitamin C because vitamin C's job is to help even out pigmentation in the skin, create a little bit more clarity and brightening in the skin. But the other thing that it's really good for, it's really good for firming the skin. So it's really good for anti-aging. And so vitamin C you want to use at night because your body is more susceptible to absorb those ingredients, and it's needing the hydration more at night because you lose hydration at night. So that's why you find you tend to see like more hydrating products are used for night than they are used for day because your body is in that resting and digesting period. So it's using all of its might to rejuvenate itself. So sometimes it loses a little moisture. So definitely vitamin C serums at night. You can use them during the day, but you definitely want to use them with sunscreen for sure. Okay. The other one is retinol. That's a really important serum. So retinol serums are great. Again, I say if you're in your 30s, you're going to use it like once every 4 nights, 5 nights. If you're in your 40s, you're probably going to use it once every 4 nights, maybe 3 nights, depending on your skin. And then once you're over 40, you're probably going to use it like once every 3 nights. So retinol is not something you use every day at all, okay? It's one of the best anti-aging sort of serums that you can work with. The thing about it is that it helps, it's like basically it's like an exfoliator. And so when you exfoliate the lipid barrier of your skin too much, that's when it can cause dysbiosis in the skin. And a lot of people see a lot of breakouts from that. And you also people don't know this, but there is a microbiome to the skin, just as there is in your gut. So if you destroy the microbiome in your skin with too many chemical peels or all these different facials and these lasers and all these kinds of things, you're going to need to replenish those. So retinol may not necessarily be what you want because you're going to be just kind of taking away that barrier. So taking too many layers of your skin barrier off is actually not really good. Yes, your skin looks amazing and you look like you're 12 or you're 20, but it's actually in the long run doing a big disservice to your skin. So you want to make sure that you're only using retinol very, very seldom. and never use it with vitamin C. They don't work together, okay? And then the other thing that I would say is conscious personal care products. And so what I mean by that is if you've heard the term clean beauty, this falls under that realm. So if you ever want to know more about this information, you can always go to my website, sandyfitness.com. I have a huge section about clean beauty and specifically what ingredients in beauty can create harm in the body or have been proven to create an imbalance in the body. There's quite a few of those ingredients. And I know that a lot of you guys work with very conscious, clean hair care brands, which is amazing. So you're going down that alley already. But if you're on a personal care product and a makeup perspective, there are so many other things that are like creeping around these products that I really, really believe that cleaner, non-toxic beauty is the wave of the future, especially with a lot of autoimmune diseases that are happening in the world. Taking care of the products or taking care of our skin with the products we put on it is very, very important. So getting into a ritual of at least your daily, day-to-day products being cleaner, non-toxic, okay? And the reason why I say that is because the last time our country passed any legislation regarding personal care products was in 1938, which is when the Wizard of Oz was released. So it's really interesting to see how much has changed since 1938 and how much ingredients have changed and how much companies can get away with. So when it comes to a self-care ritual, I'm always going to be a proponent for cleaner, non-toxic beauty. Now, there's no regulation on what non-toxic clean beauty means because it's kind of the wild, wild west right now. But the cleaner you can get, the more non-toxic that you can get, the better. So if you want more information on that, Galinda did have great skin. She sure did, didn't she? Yeah, it was green. If you want more information on that, you can always go to my website and you can learn more there. Okay. So I am not going to leave you hanging. There's no way. After today, you will have available to you in a support tool that I spent so much time researching for you, all of you. It's the 2021 Beauty Flow Product Guide. And so it is a product guide of 5 different categories. So it's makeup, skin, tools, mindset, and body of my favorite products from those 5 categories, all for you in this guide, all dwindled down. The skincare is really great for various different types of skins out there. So it's not just for like one person, it's very generalized. And when you get the PDF, you can just literally click on the product and it will take you directly to that product and it's all linkable. So it's all linked up. So you can order anything that you want if you wanted to. So everything like my must-haves, my favorites, like my Wildling, Gua Sha Stone, my dry brushing, any tools that I recommend, any of my vitamin C's and retinol serums, they're all linked there. My favorites of all favorites that have worked on so many of my clients, they're all there for you. So I feel like it's like the Oprah show. Like you get a Gua Sha Stone and you get a vitamin C serum and you get an always pan. Like it's all right there for you. So yeah, let's see. Okay, yes, you'll find the product guide right there. Thank you. Sweet. All right. Oh my gosh, we are almost done. It's crazy. So that is a little bit about some of the conscious self-care rituals. And I think one of the things that I hope that you were able to see, not only today, but over the course of the last 8 weeks that we've spent together, is that how the infrastructure to beauty is an inside job. It's based on the integration of the mindset and self-connection, your nutrition, your lifestyle. And then at the end, you can start to incorporate these conscious self-care rituals to really create your ideal you and bring you closer to you. So now that we are nearing the end of the program, I showed this diagram to you on our first meeting together. And for some of you, you guys were probably like, okay, I kind of get it. I'm not quite sure what that means. But I'm hoping now, after going through this, that you've actually been able to see how your body is a holistic system. Your beauty is holistic. And that if we just approach it with skincare and serums, we're missing out on all of the other aspects of you that make you beautiful. And that is your mindset and how you connect to yourself and how you know yourself, but how you love yourself and how you want to give yourself the attention and the affection that you deserve. But on top of that, your nutrition and lifestyle directly impact your beauty. If we didn't learn anything through the microbiome, we know now, right? We totally know so much that the microbiome directly impacts your beauty and your skin. But your lifestyle nourishes you sometimes more than broccoli does. So it's really cool to see how these all integrate together, okay? So let's take these last 10 minutes and just take a moment to recap everything that we've learned. I mean, I feel like we have been talking for so many more weeks than 8 weeks. And this session has been just a micro version of what you would experience in a group coaching session or a one-on-one coaching session with me. But the Beauty Flow method is here for you to really remember. It's here for you to feel and look your best so that you can go out there and positively impact the world. And the first step to doing that is finding your why. So if you have forgotten your why since that session 2 that we all worked together on, go back to it. Remember those values that we talked about, your life priorities. Like, have you been able to keep those in mind? Where are they now? Think about that. Are they on your refrigerator? Are they on your phone? Are they on a Post-it? And if they're not, go back to them, because they will be the ones to help you to establish boundaries. They'll be the ones to help you establish what is going to feed your heart and it's going to feed your soul. Okay. We also talked about letting go. And this is the mindset piece, right? Letting go of the thoughts that no longer serve you. And if you remember back to all of the neuroscience that I had brought up to you, remember there's that prefrontal cortex, your amygdala lives inside, and your amygdala so badly wants to be on high alert and be like overactive, but your prefrontal cortex is the one that's actually can be in charge and can calm you down. And we want to strengthen the prefrontal cortex. In doing that, one, by meditating, finding mindfulness activities, because if we can really control what's going on in our brain, we can control our nervous systems. And our nervous system is what helps to control how we feel and how we look, how we act, how we show up. So it's about identifying those thoughts that no longer serve us and telling that crazy woman in the attic, not today. Not today. You don't get to mess with me today. You don't know me. You don't get to mess with me, right? She lives in the amygdala. She's a crazy one, right? Don't believe every thought you think. Your body holds more truth than your mind. So get into your body so that you can regulate your nervous system. So that nervous system helps you to rest, digest, and repair so your skin can be clear, you don't have premature aging, and you can live happily. And then we have opting for better choices. And this is when we talked about the microbiome and how the microbiome directly impacts your skin, how it directly can impact the various organs in your body, but not only that, how it can directly impact your brain, the thoughts you think, because the foods that you eat directly impacts the lens in which you view life. And when you view life through rosy colored glasses, remember how beautiful life gets and how beautiful you end up looking, because you glow differently when you're aligned. So opting for better choices is about all of those lifestyle choices, those little tiny shifts that you can change based on your values, based on your why, based on your priorities, so that you can live a more fulfilled life. And we talked about how at work we can make better choices so that we can create balance in our week, balance in our bodies, whether it is through our mindset, whether it's through what we eat. We have to create balance. So if we know that we're not going to eat properly throughout the day while we're at work, then let's create balance on those other times of the day where we can eat great, can make better choices. And then we end out with winning beauty rituals. So winning rituals, listen, when we it was very fast here today, but if we worked one-on-one together or worked in a group setting, this is where I actually go through a skincare and makeup audit of everything you own and help you to decide what you can add to your products to make, you know, your regimens, your beauty rituals better. I also do personalized makeup lessons, and we follow up on that. We follow up on how your skin is working throughout the week, throughout the program. This is also part of the program as well. But the winning rituals are so important because self-care is self-healing. If you don't self-heal, you will not feel enough, and it will lead to burnout. And if you burn out and fall, the people around you cannot go on. So when you choose you, you choose the people that you love. Don't forget that, okay? Only you can choose to prioritize your priorities. Only you. So remember, when you realize that no one's got your back, Superman isn't coming, you got to turn to yourself, and only you can choose to prioritize your priorities. And it's a choice. It's all a choice, right? So we're almost done here, but I just want to remind you that without your education, your practice, and your accountability, transformation can be harder. So I'm opening this up for anybody here who's been part of Salon Service Group. You get $300 off my one-on-one coaching program for 3 weeks or for 12 weeks. You can apply at my website, sandyfitness.com, okay? Because I truly, truly believe that everybody deserves transformation and to become closer to their ideal self. So I want to do this for all of you because I truly believe that you guys are all amazing and you so deserve it. So. Ultimately, I want to thank you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and it has been an honor for me to work with all of you. You have all been amazing. Every one of you who have DM'd me, who have wrote something very lovely, thank you. And for those of you who showed up to every single session, my goodness, I thank you. I have so much gratitude for all of you. I know that you are all going to be doing such amazing, amazing things. And I hope that if there is anything that you learned today or in these sessions was that you are worth it. Thank you, Amy. You guys are so worth it. And that when you choose you, you choose the people that you love. Okay? The moment you decide to choose yourself, you actually choose to positively impact the world. But you have to choose yourself first. No one can now, just you. And I want you to just take a moment to reflect on this because this is true right here, right? When you show up your best self, when you show up the person that that your ideal self, you cause a ripple effect and you elevate the consciousness of all the people around you. The collective gets better when you get better. But no one's going to make you better until you decide. So with that, I thank you. And I encourage you to I want to hear everything. If you have anything nice to say about this program, DM me on Instagram, on Facebook. My email is sandy@sandyfitness.com. You can send me an email there. I've just been so excited to spend this time with you. I thank you so, so much. And I'm always here if you need me. So thank you.
Sandy, thank you so much for this series. It's been amazing. I've loved to see all the people that have showed up, just like you said, week after week. I know that we've talked about it in the office. Each week we talk about what you've brought to us, and it's just, I want to encourage everyone who's been attending to connect with Sandy. She's, like she said, she's still there. She's available outside of us. Continue your relationship with her, take advantage of her discount. And then also I'm going to put in the chat again, just to remind you to enter to win the free session with Sandy. I'm so thankful for all that you've done for us in this time. I know that our office section's very zen right now, and it'll still based on all that you've brought us. So thank you so very much. And we look forward to watching all that you do. And yeah, guys, go sing her praises on social. Make sure that you spread the message of how great she's been with us. So anyway, thank you, Sandy. Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you, Gino, for providing it for us. And yeah, we'll hear more. And we're going to be talking about Sandy for a long time. So thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.